But this is the way that it stays in business, the post office, is that because it still has a monopoly on something, it's still around. You know, if it were privatized, I think that USPS would, you know, go under. And that's the argument on that, which is fine, you know. But he's right. It is becoming more privatized, and that is a good thing. And yeah, I think we're pretty much in agreement with income tax and flat tax. At the very least, you know, it needs to be simplified, income tax. He's right. It needs to be shortened so that people can actually figure out what the hell they're doing with the tax system, because you have all of these, you know, layers and layers of taxes, and nobody understands it really. You have to go to an accountant, and even then they don't know what they're doing sometimes. Believe me, I've been there. I corrected him a few times, this accountant of mine a couple years ago. Yeah. So it's that bad. So I'd say let's get rid of the income tax and that kind of thing. But yes, a flat tax is in the right direction at the very least. And so, but let's talk about other stuff. This BP stuff, I haven't talked about it at all for the last 2 months. Why? Because I figured it'd be fixed. But now, from the way I understand it, the oil is going to the basin of the Atlantic. And therefore, if the way I think of it, it's going to create this cycle throughout the whole ocean, and eventually it'll spread out. But hopefully I'm wrong. That's all I'm saying, is it is killing wildlife. That's a fact. We all know that. The oil spilled in, or leaked in, the Gulf of Mexico and spread out to at least Louisiana, Mississippi, and then it went to Texas and Florida. Now it's driving down into the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. So it's, I don't know if you, I'm going to try to draw this out for you people. So say the Gulf of Mexico is right here, and it's this big thing. Yeah, I hear people laughing at me. So, but then if you see this Gulf, it's driving out to the middle of the Atlantic out here. I know that looked terrible. I know it. But that's what's going on. And this is what scares me, is if there's that much oil on this one ship or whatever, isn't that a little much? So, anyway, but there's this idea that this is going to cause a cascade effect. Liberals will have the opportunity to say, hey, let's go green. And actually, I would be all for that, because it should have already happened. We should all be on like solar power or something. There's no reason to be using oil, in my opinion. But it's just one more way for the economy to keep on going as well with this oil. But where does it come from? That's a problem. There's no reason why we need to be using oil. Let's go into solar power or wind power, what have you, whatever. I could go into so much more depth with that situation, but I won't. Not right now. Actually, there was a blog post. I might have talked about this in the video. I think I did. Jacob Hornberger on the Future for Freedom Foundation. He's the head of that. I don't know what the title is. He's chairman or something. He's often on Freedom Watch, actually. Which, let me skip topics right now. Freedom Watch is now on Fox Business Network. The last show was last weekend, or the first show on TV, that is, was on Saturday, and it was amazing, I think. I think it was great for this Tea Party movement. You had Sarah Palin and Ron Paul and Rand Paul all debating each other at one point. And then you had this guy that's a governor in some state, I forget, sorry. He was on talking directly to Napolitano. That was awesome. And then he has he had a panel of people like Jim DeMint and a couple other people. I think that was the most innovative Freedom Watch he ever had, which is now on TV. I think it's great. It was just the best intro I've ever seen for a show, when it comes to politics, that is. So hopefully we'll see more of that. Anyway, back to Jacob Hornberger. He made this blog post about how the state of Michigan isn't or doesn't want to subsidize this one producer for this movie that he's coming up with. It had to do with cannibalism and such. And so, as I said in the video, the right side of the debate is about, you know, family values, and they're like, this is ridiculous. We shouldn't be doing this kind of movie. The left side of the debate is like, well, we shouldn't be censoring whatever movie. Censorship is, well, technically, I think the left is correct on this particular issue. There's the freedom of speech. This is all about private property, that kind of thing. But the only reason why it's political is because states are able to subsidize producers in the first place. Why are we doing that? I think that is ridiculous. I mean, states, by all rights, by the 10th Amendment, they can do it. But why are they doing it? Isn't that ridiculous? It's the argument is that it brings in tourism because people want to see where the movie was made, and it so that promotes business. But states shouldn't be in business at the first place. This comes right back to what we were talking about earlier, privatization. You know, this is your money. Taxpayers' money goes to producers. It's wrong. There's no moral authority for the state to do that, any state. And there's another argument. I happen to believe that this is why California is going bankrupt as well, because they subsidize producers and movies and Hollywood and all that other stuff. It's immoral to use your money for specific purposes. This is why lobbying is wrong in the first place as well. When it comes to corporate money, corporations getting money, that is. It's definitely immoral. And TARP was wrong for the same reason. It's all the same thing. So I just wanted to bring that up, and I thought that was an amazing point.